One of the most fascinating prospect development cases that I can remember is Bam Adebayo, who, to be honest, was a pretty bad offensive prospect and a bad offensive player at Kentucky. His touch was really weak. He was a really pure tools upside athlete. You could see how built and explosive he is, but he would miss like point blank layups, both short and long. He was great carving out space in the post. He could use his burst and dip his shoulder here to easily get past his defender. But again, just smokes a wide open layup. He shot like a 40, I think he shot like 43% on layups at Kentucky, which is just horrific. He just dunked everything in the half court. Bam was also a total non-shooter. He didn't shoot threes. He shot like 10 mid-range jumpers. Defenses would just leave him open and let him shoot because they didn't worry about him. And his passing was okay at best, where a lot of the processing stuff looked like this, where Bam was just kind of standing around. It doesn't really know what he's looking at or what he's supposed to be passing to, whether he's going to make this read or kick it back out. Just very slow processing and then kind of throws a bad turnover. Bam was a guy who would just kind of win by being the most athletic dunker on the court, and he'd kind of do like simple pass backs like this, nothing crazy. Maybe some like basic flashes of like short roll stuff and some high-low passing. Bam here is going to take a dribble and wrap it around. That was maybe his best assist that I saw. A little bit of on-the-move playmaking there. Again, Bam just isn't able to finish with touch there. Like when he wasn't able to win with strength, Bam really did struggle to win with touch or pretty much anything else, which is very surprising as this is leading up to knowing who the player Bam is now on the offensive end. And none of it was really there. This was always there, though. Bam muscling through defenders. Excellent little up fake step through here. Just too strong, explosive, long, and physical at that point. So I went back to his AAU tape to see if there was anything more there. Because sometimes, especially with Kentucky players, John Calipari tends to hide their skill sets. Or, Karl Anthony Towns is a famous example. Tyrese Maxey, Emmanuel Quickley. But it was honestly a lot of the same with Bam. There was some more short roll passing stuff. This was a kind of emblematic play. There were so many dumb turnovers, but I do like the vision here. It's a very wide open read. Bam wasn't really making any sort of high level, high timing reads into tight windows or anything like that. At least not at a regular rate. There were some flashes. Again, he passes out of the post here. Bam is going to twist his head around when the help comes. Not a super difficult pass, but it is a good pass against the double nonetheless. Bam on this play is going to process the floor really quickly. So there were some better flashes in AAU of the passing. Really an immediate decision to pass this cutter. Like I said, the high-low kind of actions. He wasn't a super dynamic passer, but he could be really effective and reactive in his high-low situations and like basic, one pass away to the corner, kind of slow delay stuff. Nothing really advanced. Bam, this was a play that I liked where even though he turns the ball over, I like that he's trying to make a short roll read low here. He maybe could like manipulate this defender with his eyes or try to pass out to the shooter, but I do like the idea here, and I think that's a decent flash of like coordination on the short roll. But as we're seeing, none of this is really any special except for the vertical athleticism where Bam could just dunk over everyone because of no one gets off the floor like him at his size and wingspan and all of that good stuff. And there were maybe some flashes of like fluid driving, but he was turning the ball over. He was losing the ball out of bounds. He wasn't able to keep his control. It was really interesting, again, because this is not the Bam Adebayo that we see in the NBA, where nowadays he is a very, very good mid-range scorer. He loves to like jab and fade away. Like where did this come from? There were, from what I saw, very little flashes of this in college, very little flashes of this in AAU, very little flashes in high school, and now he's initiating at the top of the key and pulling up into like a rhythm mid-range jumper. And his touch was really not that great at the college level. Wasn't a very good free throw shooter either, if I recall, but still has that same overwhelming explosion in power. That was always there, and yeah, that was always going to translate. If there was one reason for me to be really optimistic about prospect Bam, it was that like power and explosion that he used to get through and create advantages basically at will. and that stayed up. I think he had like the level of special to make it really remain up. But Bam's passing, of course, is the big improvement everyone talks about. Again, on the short roll, Bam here is going to kind of manipulate here, or at least like feign the corner and pass it into Jimmy Butler, who's sitting right in front of Denny, ends up going up for an easy layup. His decision making, his control, his like even his coordination and balance feel so much better. And Bam definitely looks a bit lighter than he does on the college tape. We'll go back to it at some point, but I think he's like losing some of his weight and adding mobility really turned him into the superstar defender that he is, which we'll talk about a little bit. Another awesome short roll play, this time in a tight window here. Bam is actually manipulating the low defender, pivoting the ball to his right, and this looks like a pass out to Jaime, so Dennis Smith is stuck in the middle. He no-looks it down, and that's like a high-level pass that Bam was just not doing in college. But what he was always doing was defending like crazy. I'm not going to focus too much on the defense, but I did just want to mention it because he was a ridiculous defensive prospect. Again, we see Bam moving on the perimeter to start this possession, and look how far he jumps from and how long he is to get his hands on the ball. Might have been a foul, maybe, but it wasn't called. Insanely explosive, despite only being like 6'8", 6'9", like one of the craziest vertical leapers, wingspan, timing guys when it came to shot blocking, especially as freshmen at that young age. It really was rare. Adebayo was just an amazing rim protector. He was just a wall at the rim, very difficult to shoot and score over. And yeah, now this is exactly what he's doing in the NBA. Bam coming from behind, blocking that shot, being an absolute wall in the middle here, switching onto Cade even. I think I didn't actually mean to have these clips. Yeah, I didn't mean to have those clips. But more AAU defense because I think this stuff is really fun. Bam just sliding here, blocking this shot at the rim. He was so dominant on defense at this stage of his career. Another time he uses the incredible explosion to get up and block that shot. And again, we're going to see Bam just erasing shots at the rim. The reaction time, the reaction speed, also overwhelmingly good and quick. But the offense to me is the real like super interesting thing here. I don't really like, usually I have a conclusion or like some kind of lesson that comes with these videos, like it's a fucking Disney show. I don't know, but I don't know. Embrace chaos. Things are gonna be weird a lot of the times. I really don't know how you could have seen what Bam did coming. The feel, the touch, all that stuff was so behind, and I guess just like an extreme bet on athletic tools and the Coach Cal situation. But yeah, he just wasn't that great of an offensive prospect. Like maybe he definitely had some more potential than he showed, but he really was not super impactful outside of just like interior scoring and rebounding, and definitely not like the borderline star offensive player he's been at times in his career. So Bam is wild. I have no clue how he came to be, but I'm really glad he did because he's a cool player.